So, hi everyone. Today um I focus I'll be talking about family communication. So, my goal was to explore how communication influences family relationships, mainly focusing on its impact on trust, problem solving, and adapting to changing dynamics. All right. So, communication is the foundation for strong family relationships. It's the foundation for any strong relationship. It helps us build trust, helps us navigate conflict, and shape the roles we play within our families. And within this presentation, we're going to go over three key areas. There's family communication styles, how families resolve conflicts, and the roles families take on, and how communication shapes these roles. And there's also a small part about how culture and technology can even shape our communication. So we're going to start with understanding communication styles. So there are two um, dimensions according to the family communication patterns theory. There's conversation orientation, which these types of families encourage open dialogue. They freely exchange ideas and opinions and have overall very high communication. And then there's the conformity orientation. And this type of family they emphasize on harmony and shared belief. But sadly, in this kind of thing, it kind of can lead to like the black sheep theory, if you know what that is. It's basically like if a family member doesn't necessarily agree with everyone else on certain topics, they become outcasted. So there, those are the two dimensions, and then together these dimensions can create four family types. You have the pluralistic; they are high conversation but low conformity. So plenty of ideas all the time, but um, on the other end, you have high conversation and high conformity. This is the consensual family type, which there's plenty of open discussion in these types of families, but parents will retain overall um, decision making. And then on the other end, you have protective families. These are low conversation with high conformity. They value obedience and they try to minimize conflict. And then you have the laissez-faire families. Excuse my pronunciation. This is limited communication or cohesion. So basically, that's kind of just like the free for all. Um, but a pluralistic family might have regular family meetings where everyone shares thoughts, and this fosters independence and understanding. Whereas in protective families, they might avoid those hard conversations, which will instead preserve harmony. So, I do have a small example. Um, so, yes, a protective family minimizes conflict, but they struggle with openness, and this will lead to tension over time, reducing in trust, and um, yeah. So, to kind of balance this, if you introduce family meetings, allowing open dialogue and improved cohesion, uh, everyone has a chance to say what they would like to, can help with these struggles with the openness. But I do actually have a small example. I went in and observed a few families for this project of my friends, and in this family, parents made decisions with minimal input from the kids, and this helped with the conflict in the short term, but it did create tension as the children got older, and when we're looking for independence. So this kind of shows how communication styles influence long-term dynamics, and families can benefit by balancing structure with open dialogue to build that trust and adaptability. Next up, we have conflict resolution. So, conflict is inevitable. There's a few common styles: avoiding, accommodating, compromising, and collaborating. So, um, so families with high conversation orientation, most of the time will resolve conflicts collaboratively. Everyone will sit down, they'll talk it out, everyone listens to the other side, and usually they're going to end up finding a compromise. Whereas um, avoidance is more typical in protective families. Um, they may avoid the conflict, which builds tension and can honestly, and sometimes even make unresolved issues worse than they were to begin with. Um, One family I interviewed and observed, they used family meetings as a conflict resolution tool. So it was kind of, you see it in the movies a lot, where everyone sits down and it's one person's chance to talk. They get to say what they want to say and then they move on to the next person. And then once they reach the end of that part, they would try and find a middle ground to resolve things. So um, this definitely reduced some misunderstandings and helped with their bond. Okay. Next up, we have the family roles. So there's caregivers, mediators, decision makers. But these roles are shaped and shape communication. Are shaped by and do shape communication. Traditional families often follow a hierarchy with parents making the decisions. This is more likely what you're going to see with, everyone pitching in an idea, but 9 times out of 10, mom, dad have final say. There are more non-traditional families, which is basically where the roles are flexible and shared. So in these families, you'll see an older sibling maybe taking the role of caretaker for the kids, or as parents age, if the parents are older, the kids might become the parents' caretaker. Um, and yeah, so a lot of the times when that does happen, when a child becomes a caretaker for an aging parent, the dynamic shifts. Families that openly discuss things and can talk about these changes adapt more effectively, maintaining respect, and it reduces stress. Whereas if the family does not um, communicate that shift very well, it could lead to conflict of, the parent not really wanting the child to take care of them. All right, and then moving on. Oh, this is the culture and technology influence. Um, so definitely, culture and technology overall have reshaped how families communicate. Um, some positives for sure, but also some negatives. Culture overall will shape everything when it comes to families, but collectivist cultures emphasize harmony and shared responsibilities. So this is where you'll find your more um, untraditional families. I don't really want to use that word, but I really can't pronounce that other one. So this is where you'll find children being caretakers, or even maybe going to work and helping a little bit with financial burden in a household. Um, Whereas, and it's one big machine and everyone has a part. Whereas individualist cultures value independence. So this is more the, oh, you're 18, time to move out and support yourself. Uh, Technology has been insane for communication. Texting and social media You can update people quick on what's going on, but there are a fair share of things that can lead to misunderstandings, especially when it comes to tone of a text message. Can be difficult sometimes to differentiate those things. I know one family told me how text misunderstandings can led to unnecessary conflicts. Um, and once they just talked it out and realized it was a tone, like clarifying the tone and the intent of the text message, it improved the situation. I've had instances where I've misread the tone of a text completely, and it led to um, a big thing where it didn't need to be. So that's just a little snippet on that. Then we have practical applications. Basically, these are just things you can do to improve family communication. So, fostering open discussions, encourage everyone to share their thoughts. It builds that trust. It builds a strong relationship. Um, Active listening, repeating and clarifying to make sure you actually understand what is being said. Don't listen to respond, listen to understand. And then just regular check-ins can help quite a bit. Just check in, make sure. Sometimes we get busy and we don't even notice that things aren't great with our other family members. So just a quick check-in can help. And then finally, balancing tradition with flexibility. Change is not the enemy. Things evolve. We need to learn what to make sure we're enforcing and what we can let go of and let change and evolve, because maybe it's for the better. And by using these strategies, families can adapt to challenges while maintaining strong connections. So overall, communication styles, shape family dynamics, which kind of knew that already, but it influences how families interact and resolve conflicts. Um, Effective conflict resolution builds that trust and understanding. If we have clear communication about roles, you can build resilience and adaptability in families. And just overall, strong family communication creates healthier relationships, and it is not just about avoiding misunderstandings. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels valued and heard. And these were these were my references. So, and yeah, so you can go ahead, go to any of these, look into anything you're interested in. And thank you to my friends who helped me out here. They answered my questions, let me observe their families. I actually was asked not to include names in this project, so I'm going to respect that. But I know some of them are actually implementing the strategies here to see how they affect the dynamic of their family. And from what I've heard, with everyone on board, it is pretty effective for now, at least. This obviously is new overall for them. But thanks for listening, and I hope you guys have a great day.